Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, Vibing After Dark _ with Mo. And if you're new to my channel, how about hit that subscribe button? And if you're a returning subscriber, how about sending it to a family or a friend so they can vibe out with us? And please, 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 please make sure you like this video. That helps out a lot, and thanks in advance. Okay, so as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to be talking about Lizzo and this lawsuit that she got against her and all of the victims that's coming out and speaking out about the work environment and the way they were treated. And Lizzo also came out and spoke on the situation. So I'm gonna be playing y'all a video of what these two girls had to say in the interview that they did. And like I said, I'm gonna be reading y'all Lizzo's response, and I'm gonna also play y'all a little snippet of a video of the other lady that they was talking about, which was Lizzo management. So this video might be a little lengthy, so I'll save that interview to the end because it's a little long, but let's get right into it. Okay, so a couple of days ago, it came out that Lizzo is being sued by her former dance members, and the Neighborhood Talk went on their page and they posted, and it said, Lizzo sued by former dancers for alleged fat shaming and sexual harassment. Claimed Lizzo had a hostile work environment that included being put in uncomfortable sexual situations and rigorous on-the-spot auditions. Now, ever since then, Lizzo been trending because everything keeps coming out more and more and more to the story. Keep coming out. More people keep coming out and speaking on it. And I want to know at the end of this, what do y'all believe? Leave in the comment section. Do y'all believe Lizzo is really like this? Or do y'all just feel like these people are coming out and it's a money thing? But anyway, so this article came out and it stated, one of the most striking details of the suit alleges dancers were pressured due to fear of losing their jobs to touch nude dancers during a live sex show in Amsterdam, red light district, notoriously known for its prostitution, sex theaters, nude bars, and clubs. The main event of the night was a club called Banana Bar, where patrons are allowed to interact with completely nude performers. The lawsuit states while at the Banana Bar, things quickly got out of hand. Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos launched from performers' vaginas, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas. Lizzo then turned her attention to Miss Davis and began pursuing Miss Davis to touch the breasts of one of the nude women performing at the club. Lizzo began leading a chant, "Go to Miss Davis." Miss Davis said 3 times, loud enough for all to hear, "I'm good," expressing her desire not to touch the performer. Now, in case y'all don't know, Miss Davis is the one where this arrow is pointing at, and that was her statement in her lawsuit. Okay, so in the lawsuit, this lady right here, Miss Quigley, she was the dancer's captain. And in the lawsuit, she was named also for religious harassment. And I'm going to read y'all what this article had to say. The religious harassment allegation is connected to Quigley, the dance captain who has also worked as a judge on Lizzo's reality show. According to the suit, she preached her Christian beliefs and took every opportunity to proselytize to any and all in her presence, regardless of protestations. After discovering that Davis was a virgin, Quigley discussed the subject in interviews and posted about it on social media. The suit says, and when the cast members asked her to stop pressuring Rodriguez, whom Quigley regarded as a non-believer according to the suit, about her faith, Quigley responded, "No job, no one will stop me from talking about the Lord." The suit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court and provided to NBC News by the plaintiff's law firm also accuses the captain of Lizzo's dance team of proselytizing to other performers and deriding those who had premarital sex while sharing lewd sexual fantasies, stimulating oral sex, and publicly discussing the virginity of one of the plaintiffs. The suit does not say if Lizzo knew about the allegation linked to the dance captain, Charlene Quigley, but the plaintiffs believe that the singer was aware of their complaints about her, according to their lawyer, Ron Zambrino. So after everything came out, Miss Quigley took to her TikTok, and this is what she had to say. It really didn't have to do anything with the suit, but this was her response.
Buddy, I just wanted to get on here really quick and say, God is so, so good. God loves you so, 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 so much. No matter what you're going through, even if you don't love him, He loves you. Glory to God. I just want to remind you that He is love. He is truth. He is the light. He is the first and the last. And all things work together for those that are called according to His purpose. And I just feel so blessed. I feel so thankful. I feel so full of joy. I had such an amazing time on tour with amazing people. And I'm so excited to be home, resting with my family and my dog after an amazing experience. And yeah, I just wanted to tell everyone that God loves you and I love you, and glory to God. And I hope you're smiling and you feel joy no matter where you're at or what you're going through, because I'm telling you, God loves you.
So when I tell y'all different people started coming out and speaking on this situation, I mean different people started coming out and speaking on this situation. So this filmmaker, Sophia Nali Allison, speaks out about her experience working on Lizzo's documentary called The Singer Arrogant, Self-Centered, and Unkind. So she had to say, I usually do not comment on anything pop culture related, but in 2019, I traveled a bit with Lizzo to be the director of her documentary. I walked away after 2 weeks. I was treated with such disrespect by her. I witnessed how arrogant, self-centered, and unkind she is. I was not protected and was thrown into blank situation with little support. My spirit said to run as fast as you can, and I'm so grateful I trusted my gut. I felt gaslit and deeply hurt, but I've healed. Reading these reports made me realize how dangerous of a situation it was. This kind of abuse of power happens too often. Then there was another lady came out and agreed with her. She said, I was part of this documentary with Sophia. This is all true. I had to vent to so many of my friends about it. It was such a small crew, and the experience of working with Lizzo was a nightmare. And y'all, they say Beyonce's not even supporting Lizzo anymore. So Beyonce is on tour. So I guess a part of her tour, she always shout out some of the women, I guess, who she's inspired by, or some of the women that's in the game who she deal with. And this time, right after this came out, she did not say Lizzo's name. I would play the video, but her music be playing in the background. But they said Beyonce reiterating Badu and skipping Lizzo. That's on hitting two birds in one stone. So she said Badu name more than once instead of having to say Lizzo name. So after all these allegations and these lawsuit talk and her being trending for the same thing, she finally came out and spoke. This came out on Monday and it's Thursday, so she came out and spoke today. And this is what she have to say. These last few days have been gut-wrenching, difficult, and overwhelmingly disappointing. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually I choose not to respond to false allegations, but these are as unbelievable as they sound, as too outrageous to not be addressed. These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. As an artist, I have always been very passionate about what I do. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. With passion comes with hard work and high standards. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. I am not here to be looked at as a victim, but I also know that I am not the villain that people in the media have portrayed me to be these last few days. I am very open with my sexuality and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out of something to be I am not. There is nothing I take more seriously than the respect we deserve as women in the world. I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. I am hurt, but I will not let the good work I've done in the world be overshadowed by this. I want to thank everyone who has reached out in support to lift me up during this difficult time. So if y'all have not seen these girls' interview that they did on the morning show, I got the video right here, so I got y'all covered. Don't worry about it. And I'm going to play that in a second, but as of today, another girl came out and now she's saying that Lizzo stole her man. So I got that video too. and I'll add that to the end. Like I said, this video is going to be lengthy, so if y'all need to take y'all time and break this video up to watch it, y'all can do so, because this video is really going to be pretty lengthy.
Accusing the singer of sexual harassment and racial discrimination, along with creating a hostile work environment. CBS News has reached out to Lizzo's team, but we've yet to receive a response.
Ladies, thanks for joining us. Reading some of the things in the lawsuit, I mean, it is really disturbing and I think rather shocking. You guys say that the dancers were not treated the same as other staff and crew. Ariana, can you sort of give me a sense of how things were different for the dancers?
I just think that the standard for dancers in this camp was very much more stringent and more strict. Things that, the other cast members could do and, get away with, essentially, the dancers were not allowed to engage in any of that activity. In terms of like the false allegations that they had brought forth to us when we were on tour about us drinking before shows and things like that. That was never the case. In fact, alcohol was never even allowed in our dressing room or on our rider, which is the food and drinks provided to us. So it was like literally impossible for us to even do that. But yet we were the ones who were blamed for drinking on the job. It was stated to us by, Lizzo, that she was like, it doesn't matter if I'm doing it. It doesn't matter if the band or anyone else is doing it. It's like, you guys can't do it.
What I hear, because you guys were let go, you're saying that, the reasons why you were let go, you believe were false. Why do you think you were let go?
For me personally, we did have a meeting, the one that Ari was speaking of, with her mentioning the allegations of us drinking before shows. And in that particular meeting, I did ask to speak, in which I informed her and let her know that us drinking before shows was never the case, and that we would never want to put her, the show, or ourselves or our jobs in jeopardy, to which she kind of just blew it off and said, okay, well, if you're not drinking befores, well, then good for you. Mm-hmm. You guys still aren't performing the way that y'all need to. And people are probably saying that because of how you're performing. So, and then days later, I was let go in a hotel lobby. So.
Ladies, the lawsuit names Lizzo, her touring company, and her former creative director, Charlene Quigley. Outside of the claims against Lizzo specifically, do you think she was aware of the sexual harassment you say you experienced from Quigley?
I think in a way, Lizzo definitely knew that Charlene was a very outwardly religious person, which is not a problem. It's just when you try to force that onto other people and then in turn make some kind of like strange sexual, it's just a sexually charged situation. And I'm not sure if she was fully aware of that, because I don't really think she tried her best to keep tabs on everything that we were going through and, dealing with. But I do know that she knew that, that Charlene was very, very adamant about sharing her faith in the workplace.
So I just want to sort of point out some of the specifics in your lawsuit. In regards to what you're talking about, you said you're alleging that Quigley was pushing her religious beliefs on the dancers and then was sort of critical of dancers who, didn't kind of believe what she believed. But I think kind of some of the more disturbing allegations has to do with sort of a night of partying in Amsterdam, where the allegation is that some of the dancers were pressured into, touching a nude performer. Amsterdam has a red light district that is legal, but that the dancers were made to feel very uncomfortable and participate in ways that they did not want to do. So I'm going to sort of reiterate Ed's question. These are allegations that. Really, the direct question is, did Lizzo know about this behavior that you're alleging?
Well, Lizzo was a participant in Lizzo is the reason that I specifically was pressured to touch a new performer. She singled me out at the club that I didn't want to be at, but was told I couldn't really back out since I already said I was going before I knew what it really was. Once I had time to research it, me and Noel Rodriguez also, we figured out what it was, and we were like, okay, maybe we should not go, this is a little weird. But then we were told that a head count was already sent, a list was already sent, so she knows who's coming. And at that time, we had already been kind of fearing for our jobs and being ostracized. So it is it's an understanding in the camp that if you don't really participate and try to get in with Lizzo, you won't be booked on as many jobs. She won't like you as much. You'll be ostracized later. So we stayed in the corner. We talked to each other the whole time. We tried to ignore, what was happening. A lot of crazy things were happening. And after a lot of explicit things went on, Lizzo kind of saw me, singled me out. She was kind of going around inviting people to touch the nude performers. And I guess it was my turn. And she, started a chant. She was like, "Oh, Ari, it's your turn to do it." And I was like, "No, I'm okay." She was like, "No, come on, do it." And I said no again. And then she said, "Ari, Ari." And then everyone kind of in the club joins in and they're like, "Ari, Ari." So of course, I had to do it because I couldn't get out of that situation. So I briefly, touched, and everyone started laughing. It was funny to them because me, of all people, they see me as a very, modest or, that kind of person. So me, of all people, touching a nude person is hilarious.
And how were you feeling at the time?
I was mortified. I even remember trying to cope with how awkward I felt by making a joke about the lotion that the nude performer was wearing. I don't even know. I didn't know what to do. So I just kind of laughed it off. And unfortunately, I left soon after that with Noel. Yeah.
Ariana, Lizzo is obviously known for being a body image positive person, or somebody who sort of just says you got to own who you are and be proud of it. But you've brought up an incident, you're alleging something that happened at the South by Southwest Music Festival that you claim contradicts this image that's been created around her. Tell us about it.
So actually, South by Southwest was mentioned at one of the end of tour parties, the end of the first leg of tour. Everyone was going around making their testimonials. And, it was my turn. I wanted to speak up and say, hey, just thank you so much for this great journey. Because at the time, it was a wonderful journey for the most part, besides a couple snafus with management. And their microaggressions. But other than that, the journey, I had met amazing people and it was great. So I was saying my piece of saying thank you. And I was saying that before I did this, I didn't really believe in myself, and that it was hard when I first started, but I actually did it and I was proud of myself. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I was worried about you at South by Southwest." And I was thinking to myself, why would she say that she was worried about me at South by Southwest? We were doing promo for the show in South by Southwest, and that was the first time I had physically shown up having gained weight in front of everybody and to a Lizzo event, a Lizzo gig or whatever. So that was the only noticeable difference about me. Everything else about me was absolutely the same. My dancing ability was the same. My energy was the same. All of the girls can attest to that. But the only thing about me that was different was my weight. And I believe she was trying to allude to the fact that I was gaining weight in a way that she wouldn't get canceled. That makes sense. So it was never you're fat, you're getting fired. It was never you're gaining too much weight. It was never blatant. It was very nuanced. And she stated in one of the meetings that we had, she was like, dancers get fired. She was basically saying how grateful we should be that she knows our names and that she gives us the time of day. And then she was also saying that, you should be grateful because dancers get fired for gaining weight. And then she kind of looked at me, and I don't know if she remembers if she looked at me, but it always felt like that. And then there was another instance when I was cornered into a room with just her and the choreographer, who I looked up to very, very much. So it was very intimidating. And they pulled me into a private meeting, and they wanted to know what was wrong with me. Because they said I don't seem the same. All of these don't seem the same, and what's wrong with you? Something must be going on. We can see right through you. All these kind of things have been said to me, in a way to like mask as a safe space, but really there was this underlying air of like, why are you bigger?
Right.
That's what it felt like.
So let me ask Crystal. A lot of people are going to hear these accusations and be shocked precisely because of what Ed said. Lizzo is known for body positivity. Crystal, I want to ask you, why did you want to work with Lizzo? And that some of her fans are going to say, well, you didn't say anything about this experience until after you were fired. So how do you respond to them?
I know for me and Ari's case in particular, our first time even being introduced to her was through the show. So of course, before meeting her, we had this idea of her, and everybody knows her message and her brand and what she stands for when it comes to body positivity, equality for different races, for different genders. And things of that nature. So, of course, with me being a plus-size Black woman in America, I did identify with a lot of the things that she stood for. And, of course, I love to dance. That's what I'm passionate about. So whenever the opportunity came for me to get the chance to work with her, that seemed like like my absolute dream job, to which I ended up booking. So we kind of had like this high start. Mm-hmm. And then over time, as reality kind of sets in and you're seeing that everything isn't the way that it seems, that there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, your ideas of things quickly start to shift. And especially with this being like our first professional job, our first tour, we're literally learning everything as we go. And of course, everybody knows that kind of like in Hollywood and in the industry, things that happen don't necessarily get talked about as often. They kind of get swept under the rug. So it was just a lot to process. Mm-hmm. Until things kind of spiraled out of control.
Crystal, there's that old expression, don't meet your heroes because they might disappoint you. I mean, is this just maybe a case of you had perceptions of what you thought this would be and it turned out to be different because she, like many other performers, has, a different personality off stage? I mean, would an apology in this suffice, or does it really have to become a legal matter?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it's one of those things where it's not just like this is an artist and you admire them for their talent. That while that was, a part of the reason, there's also the other side of everything that she stands for as an artist is a big reason as to why I think people stand behind her as much as they do. And to me, I just couldn't sit with the fact that this was happening behind the scenes and this is a big part of her fan base, but she's kind of contradicting everything that she stands for behind the scenes.
Ladies, I want to thank you for sort of talking to us about this. As you already know, the reaction on social media has been swift, but there have been others who have come to your defense as well. Ariana Davis and Crystal Williams, thank you.
And if we get a response from Lizzo or her team, we'll, of course, pass that along as well.
Okay, so y'all just had an interview of what those girls had to say. Now I'm going to go ahead and play you this girl who feel like Lizzo stole her man, and that's the man that Lizzo is actually with still yet to this day.
Lizzo, late 2016, 2017-ish, she and my boyfriend were co-hosting a show on MTV called Wonderland. And no, she wasn't very nice. She wasn't very nice to me. I knew she didn't like me, but the people around her were nice. Like her sister seemed nice. And I kind of ignored it because I felt like, well, you know, she's already like in this celebrity scene or whatever, so she probably just feels like she has better things to do than talk to me. And I just noticed that, like, even when we were just out to eat or at the beach or something, she still wasn't very nice to me. And it wasn't like a production thing, like, oh, she's just really busy or whatever. She just didn't like me. She didn't say anything that was mean, but she was really like standoffish, or like wouldn't talk to me, you know, like when I talked to her, it was kind of like, oh, okay, like get the fuck away from me. I don't want to talk to you. So yeah, I eventually found out that she and my boyfriend had something going on, ex-boyfriend. And that was that. I left the relationship. I mean, yeah, it was heartbreaking. I mean, I was with him for 10 years. I supported him through everything. And when he finally got a big break, he left me for Lizzo. It was really hard for my mental health. I went through a really difficult period of time trying to be okay with this, because it wasn't just like, oh, I broke up with my boyfriend. It was like, oh, I broke up with my boyfriend and he left me for a person who wasn't very nice to me and turned out to be, like, after the fact, after we broke up, she became a Grammy award-winning celebrity and everybody in the world loves her, and her message is like love and light and positivity, after knowing how she treated me. But I wasn't able to, I didn't want to say anything because it made me sound like a whiny little baby or something. So I didn't broadcast that that was something that happened to me, or when I did talk about it, I never named her, because I just didn't feel like I would be supported or people would care, you know, like people loved her. So why would I try to like drag her name or whatever? So I just silently went through something really big and really hard. It was like my fight or flight response was triggered every time I heard her song on the radio, or like if I went to the movies and like her song was in the trailer. It was so difficult, and I cried for so long, and I felt so depressed, and like I was in a really bad spot for years because of how this happened. And I know it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault. It was his fault. It was the way he handled it. She has no responsibility to me. But I think they could have both been a little more kind in the way that they chose to get together, you know, like he could have broken up with me, or she could have maybe suggested that he break up with me before they started something, because the text messages were something that I'll never be able to not see in my head. I think I'm feeling emotional right now because this is the first time I've ever been able to freely speak on it and feel like people will hear what I'm saying and not just like come at me for saying something about somebody that they really like. And it feels like this validation. And I try to be a good person, you know, I try to let things go, forgive, you know, just move on. But some things just stick with you until it gets lifted off of your spirit. And I feel like this is a moment where it's gotten lifted off of my spirit, that she's not everything that she's been saying she is. And I've known that for a long time, but I tried to let it go. But now that it's coming to light, who she really is and how she really operates, it's just like vindication. It's like what I went through was real, and I don't have to be quiet about it anymore. I don't have to be embarrassed about it anymore. It's true. It's true. I've seen it. It's real, and now I can like put these feelings aside and just like really move on. I guess I never really thought I needed that, but I did. I'm realizing that I did. But the biggest takeaway is just be kind. Build your character and be kind. Operate from a place of love. Love yourself. And when you truly love yourself, that will extend itself to other people. Be the same person outside as you are in privacy behind closed doors. Don't try to build yourself up in a fake persona. Just because people say the right things or put on the public displays of humanitarianism or I care about you, and you know, like people love hearing those things, but what we're really not looking at is how people actually live their lives. And it's okay to get those motivational moments or those inspirational messages from people. Take the message, apply it to yourself. You're smart, you know what's right and what's true for you, so take those things and let them make you a better person. But don't ever idolize messengers. Do not ever idolize messengers. You do it for yourself. You figure those things out for yourself. You set your course, you set your path. You do the things that you believe in, and don't think that just because someone else is saying it that they're better than you or anything like that. We're all human. Don't forget that.
Alright, you guys, that's all I have for you in this video. Y'all let me know what y'all think about. Do y'all, like I said in the beginning, do y'all believe these females that came out and doing this lawsuit, or do y'all believe that they just mad because they got fired? And also, do y'all believe this girl, Lizzo took this girl man? Or was it not Lizzo's fault that that girl man wanted Lizzo? Anyway, y'all let me know and I'll do comment back. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.